People who were accused of being gold diggers. What happened? My grandma raised me after my parents died. I was 8 years old. My Uncle Cooper always said I was only being nice to grandma because I wanted her money. Even at family dinners, he'd make comments like, "Look at little gold digger buttering up grandma again," when I'd help clear her plate or bring her tea. I worked nights as a nurse and took care of her during the day. Cooper would show up whenever I had shifts, timing it perfectly. I'd come home to find grandma sitting in her chair, staring out the window with tears in her eyes, but she wouldn't tell me why. Once I found her favorite china teacup shattered on the kitchen floor. Another time, her checkbook was sitting open on the counter, something she never did. "What did he say to you?" I'd ask, but she'd just shake her head. "He's still family, honey." When she got really sick with cancer, I picked up double shifts, sometimes triple, sleeping 3 hours between the hospital and home. Her medications alone cost $400 a week. I sold my car and took the bus, counting every dollar. Cooper never offered to help, but he sure noticed when I bought her the expensive anti-nausea pills. "Must be nice having such deep pockets," he'd say, watching me help her with the medication. Good investment, I bet. On the night she died, I was finishing my shift when the hospital called. I ran 8 blocks in scrubs and sneakers, my heart hammering against my ribs. But when I got to her room, Cooper was standing in front of her door like a bouncer. "She doesn't want to see you," he said with a smirk spreading across his face. "She finally sees what you really are. Told me all about how you've been pressuring her about money." I could hear the heart monitor beeping slower behind that door. I tried to push past him, but he blocked me again. "She specifically said no visitors, especially you." I cried myself to sleep that night in the hospital parking lot, heartbroken that I couldn't say goodbye to the woman who saved me. A week later, we sat in the lawyer's mahogany-paneled office. Cooper had brought actual blueprints for renovating Grandma's house, rolling them out across the lawyer's conference table like he owned the place. He pointed out where his new entertainment room would go, where he'd put the hot tub, how he'd modernize the kitchen. "She always said this place had potential," he told the lawyer, who was watching with raised eyebrows. The lawyer opened the envelope and looked directly at me. Cooper was still adjusting his blueprints when the words hit the room. Grandma's will didn't even mention Cooper by name. The letter, written in her shaky handwriting, said, "Everything I have goes to the only person who sat with me through chemo, without once checking what was in my bank account, who held my hand through the pain, and who loved me when I had nothing left to give. She left me everything: the house, her savings, her jewelry box with my mother's ring inside, and $50,000 to her church for their cancer support group." Cooper got exactly $1, so he can't claim he was forgotten.